Greetings, humanity. Happy New Year! We made it. It's 2023. Barely. I've been fighting audio demons all night. But thank you all for coming. Well, greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns. And this is The Inner Circle, one of the story arcs in our Waking Nightmares campaign of Don't Rest Your Head, a game by Fred Hicks of Evil Hat Productions. This is a supernatural horror game in which the Insomniac characters have been awake for so long they've developed strange abilities and can freely interact with a realm of living nightmares. We're going to go around and say hi to everyone we have with us today and find out once again who they are and who they are playing. And we shall start with Alyssa. Hello.
Hello, my name is Alyssa. I am your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales, better known as shawl tales. And tonight I play Lila Mendelsohn, the stressed out songstress who's beginning to wonder if one ever truly escapes the Mad City.
We could be there right now for all we know.
Did have that conversation before we started.
We did. And now let us head over to Olivia. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I am Olivia, also known on the internet as Cry Out Olivia. And tonight I am playing Dawson, the mathematics grad student who has found her way into the Mad City and is loving it. It's just having a great time. I keep saying that like kind of facetiously when I enter in, but she kind of does. She kind of likes it here.
Things are kind of going well for her.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
This is a problem shared by the other group also, by the way. they find themselves enjoying it.
Like, oh.
Yeah. It's nothing terrifying about that at all. But now let us head over to Nash. Hello.
Hi, my name's Nash. You can find me on the internet everywhere at TheaterNerd221. I made some choices last week, or rather Lana did. Or by proxy, Lana made some choices. And they aren't going to bite her in the butt at all. Nope, it'll be okay.
No, not at all. It's not like you now have a binding contract with a major nightmare in the city or anything like that. Oh, wait. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure everything will be just fine. Probably.
Maybe.
You never know. You never know. But then now let us head over to Rrok. Hello.
Hey, I'm Rock and Roll, and find me on the internet anywhere under that name. And tonight I'll be returning to the Mad City as Dustin Lint, who has previously been there and barely made it out, as I seem to recall. So it'll be interesting to see what his return is.
Yeah. There was a lot. There was so much. But before we get started, as a reminder, like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of physical and mental debilitation, insomnia, death, law enforcement, nightmares, body horror, being stalked and chased by supernatural beings, and other horrific themes. The game has mechanics related to states arising from sleep deprivation, referred to in-game as exhaustion, madness, scars, and fight or flight responses. but places the expression of those states squarely in the hands of the players. If you want to see that at any time and you're in chat, you can type !DRYH, that's for Don't Rest Your Head, CW, for content warning, and that will pop up there. It's also on rotation, so it should be coming up regularly in chat as we go. Finally, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. Now, let us see what happened last time. Much happened last time. Last time we had Lila and Lana and Luca, who unfortunately Hannah could not be with us this evening. But Lila and Lana and Luca sought refuge with the forces of the Wax King in the underground portion of the Mad City, in his castle in the sewers, which seems strange, but it's kind of what they call it. There are castle-like things there, and they were doing some work with the messaging system down there to try to help out, because they were only taking in people, refugees from the major shifts happening at this particular 13th hour that we're in. Because remember, in the Mad City, and if you're in the 13th hour, all the doors to the city slumbering vanish, and you cannot get back home if you happen to be an awakened individual. But, as it were, there was a great redirection of water coming in, and there was a great deal of flooding. So they were running away from that. The Wax King noticed that they were here. In particular, noticed that Lila was here, because Lila has been to the Mad City a couple of times before. If you stay awake long enough, that's where you end up. So had her brought before him, her and the other members of the group at that point, Lana and Luca, and they made a deal, which was basically they found out using a periscope there's a river now in the Mad City that has come in. This is probably why there was flooding. The Wax King wants to know why it's there, wants to know the source of the river more specifically. Ask them to find the source of the river, and they find a source of the river for him. He will find an exit for them. Lana requested that this be a binding contract, and so it was. So that was done. And so the Wax King said that they'll have his guards escort them to the surface so they can begin their search. Similarly, at around that time, someone else found themselves underground, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So Dawson, after having been separated from the rest of the party, found herself in a glass elevator that went in, started messing with an equation, and the thing started moving in kind of a preset course over the neighborhood known as the Grid, which is kind of a cyberpunk-ish / Geiger-esque nightmare. And the whole district is in fact a self-aware nightmare. Moving across it, above it, getting to watch as the Mad City was starting to change. Things were moving around. The Market District was off flapping around in space for some reason. We already covered that on Friday. And landed. Landed is an interesting term because the end decided to stay with the elevator until it landed, but it was able to figure out quite a lot from the equations in there that she saw and be able to manipulate. Figuring out certain things about kind of how the city works, possibly, and more importantly, possibly how to predict the changes, maybe. If you can sort it out.
We're gonna, yeah, it's gonna open up a whole new subset of mathematics. Liminal space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The key is, of course, remembering it after you've had some time to sleep. But you know, that's its own situation. Yes. So that was particularly helpful, as far as that goes, and just sort of being able to, and as also it involved the prediction of things to a certain extent. Like attracting like, coincidence happening, probability, at least within the city. Meanwhile, Dustin had arrived also in the city, also at the grid, going back into the city to look for inspiration. Wants to start sculpting again, or has been sculpting, wants to find some more inspiration. And found images were starting to be pulled out of his head when he started talking to some spheres that were setting up some kind of a little gallery. Started running from the spheres, the hovering spheres that are some of the units attached to the grid, and ended up finding a way down into the subway, which is also where Dawson ended up. They ran into each other. Started running into the subway, defeated the turnstiles, so they didn't have to pay to get in. And Dawson sped up their own personal time for a bit in order to try to get away, and then just basically turned around and clocked like 4 of the 5 spheres that were following them, and the other one turned and ran. And they proceeded on toward the area where the green line is underneath the city. And that is actually where I would like to pick up. Again, it is very close to 1 o'clock, probably. Or will be. But I think Dawson and Dustin have a tiny bit more time than Lila and Lana do. So I want to find out what they're doing, what they would like to do, where they would like to head. You're going to come out into a... let me look at this thing. You're heading up. Again, the walls, the tunnels change a little bit as you are heading through, because it is the 13th hour, and this is what it does. But you were following the signs to the green line, and so from where you were, oh yes, so you have you find that there are 2 stations you can head toward on the green line. One to the left, the other to the right. The one to the left is shifting. It is shifting from one thing to another. Let me see. The letters are changing on it. The word district is underneath, so that's not changing. Right now, it's as the letters are sort of flickering in and off. It says something like Minancia. That's, of course, changing also. That's the sign on the left.
Okay.
On the right, you hear this thud, kind of, actually. This big rumbling thud from off somewhere. Kind of like, it's not actually an abrupt thud as of something falling. It's more like a massive vault door closing. Perhaps. It sounds kind of like it's not it's not exactly that, but it's close to that in terms of just enormity from you hearing that. But it's nothing, nothing much. There's maybe a tiny bit of a shake, and the sign on the right, sort of, kind of once again sort of clicks on, and you can see it's now actually this as though it has always been there, just on this metal sign that's been screwed into the wall. It says, to the right is the Re-Education District stations. The left is the Minutia for the district, and to the right is the Re-Education District.
As we kind of skid to a halt, I feel like the one that is actively changing is bad. That might not be a good way to go, but I also don't. The Re-Education District sounds intense, so I don't know what Dustin thinks.
Does Dawson ask? Like,
yeah, I think we just kind of stand there for a sec and yeah, Dawson. So,
don't look at me. This wasn't here the last time.
Yeah, and whatever is that way, and we'll just kind of like, shrug towards the changing side, might not be there looks at watch very shortly. This might be a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. We could flip a coin?
Well, I mean, I think it'd be safe to say that if it's not going to be there shortly, then we wouldn't be there either when those things come back.
I don't know how people work in the... I've never done this before. I'll be like totally honest with you. I'm really out of my depth here. But yeah, I agree. That could happen. So, left, I guess?
Good a choice as any.
Let's do it. She's not a high fiver, but I, Olivia, high five. Decision making.
Right.
So, you head to the left toward the Mycelial District.
Oh no, sorry. The right then.
To the right, to the
one that's
Re-Education
not
District?
changing. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Education.
To the right, to the Re-Education District you go then. There.
That was one of the memories that Dawson gave up, was learning her left from her right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Now she's dyslexic.
So, you head down this corridor, and there are some stairs that'll take you down into a station. If you want to do that, let me actually look briefly again at the layout. Yeah, so you have some. So you have basically, you can see kind of where the station is, and you see the corridor does go on. If you want to try to continue going around, you can, if you wish. Try to find. Also, It's one of those things where they've kind of set it up where it's possible maybe to go on foot. From the stations themselves, you kind of will see that if you want to hop on a train, you can hop on a train, or you can take what's probably going to end up being a sewer tunnel to another area. So the signage here is perhaps it looks kind of more of the kind of thing where folks have put stuff up on. It looks starts looking a little bit more academic. Sort of boards people have put letters in. The ones, the sort of grabber boards that you can put little plastic letters in, that kind of thing. And just sort of the stations that you can look down into. This place probably has multiple stations, but the first one you come across, at least, you'll see is going to have basically, it looks kind of like the sort of subway station you would find close to a university campus. And so it has it's kind of clean, kind of. It's got, a little bit of it's like fairly it looks like it's been fairly cheaply decorated, but it has been decorated a bit with just sort of a coat of like orange paint. It's got brown tiles on the floor that are also reminiscent of like fast food restaurant tiles. And sort of the station, if you look down into it, there are people milling around in there a little bit. It's not a huge number of people, I will say, and we'll perhaps talk more if you go down there. So that's one thing you can do if you want to go down to the station. If you want, you can continue along the corridor that will head. It looks like there is signage here that says that will sort of a sign pointing down. It's a re-education station. There are more re-education stations to ahead in this corridor. And sort of now, as you're moving, what would be counterclockwise in this corridor. If you approach it, if you try to go down and find a way to the left, then you're going to be heading further inward, probably toward the red line. If you want to try to find another corridor to the right, you'll probably end up heading back toward the blue line. The signage does say re-education stations alongside here. Behind you, the Mahidya district, and ahead of you, it says somewhere ahead of you is District 13. And so these are the different places you can get from right here, anyway. And then, of course, if you wish, you may wander into the sewers, where there are more options, but that's up to you.
Okay, just in for the benefit of being completely honest, you said that last time you were here, this all didn't exist, and we'll point around to the subways. Last time I was here, which was a few hours ago, I was on a subway car that did get eaten by a guy. So maybe walking is the best, but I also maybe the guys are probably still there. They weren't guys. They were like, well, they ate trains.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe walking.
Walking sounds good. Yeah. Always in favor of avoiding being eaten, especially in this place.
So you've been here for a while then, or before?
To the Mad City, yes. The subway, no.
Yeah.
There was no subway the last time I was here.
When was that?
A while. It's been a couple of years.
Interesting. So, but it was similar though. Dangerous, lots of running from things.
Yeah, it's like your typical Doctor Who episode. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. I've never been here before, and I showed up a couple of hours ago, and it's fascinating here, and I'm trying to get a handle on everything. I've spent most of the past 2 hours just being like, that's all a little much. That's all.
Yeah. Fascinating is definitely a word you could use for this place.
I have a question. Are you still up in the corridor, or have you gone down into the station?
I think walking and talking.
Yeah.
Probably.
Are you walking along the corridor, or are you walking in the station? Are you up here, or are you down there?
I think towards that. You said that like to walk between places, you have to kind of like go into the sewers.
Well, yeah. If you want to go anywhere other than say like District 13 or the District, or the Red Line or the Blue Line, if you want to avoid all of those, then you'll have to go down into the station to try to access the sewers.
Okay, then that's probably.
Okie doke. The reason I mention this is because as you're sort of walking through and you see that there are a number of people here just kind of like they look like students, a number of them, just sort of they're looking sort of nervous as they're just sort of chatting with each other. They look kind of, most of them are dressed from sort of more present day, but they go back towards the Victorian era too. There are also some of them who look like they're about the age of students, and even some like college student age, but even going, there's like a couple of even younger kids who you will notice look like they're dressed in a somewhat more Dickensian orphan fashion, basically. Are kind of lounging. You know how sometimes people will very obviously lounge dangerously? This is sort of near some of the benches, and some of them kind of will note you're coming in as they sort of adjust their flat caps, and they're watching everything quietly as you come into the station.
These are humanish looking children.
Yes,
right?
yes, these
like,
are.
okay.
Yeah, the kids are the children are humanish. Most of the students are humanish. There are probably a couple of there are a few people who look. There is someone who appears to be made of wicker down here, and someone who appears to be who kind of was got this delightful pair of ram's horns, kind of wearing a suit and ram's horns, and then actually coming at you note the wicker person kind of looks toward one of the tunnels and is like, and sort of is going to back off a bit as you see someone sort of clamber up from one of the tunnels, clamber in, or they've been walking along one of the tunnels, sort of coming out, looking around, This is an individual who appears to, it looks like their skin is made of sandpaper. They're just kind of looking around, and they're like, and behind him coming in is just this guy wearing headphones. And also kind of looking relatively student-aged, but more modern dressed. Maybe, 1980s probably. Sort of coming in, they're like, and they're just sort of as though they've been kind of running a little bit. The wicker person apparently doesn't want to be near the sandpaper person and is so sort of turning away. The sandpaper person will actually see you as you are coming in, and be like, I don't think this is finished shifting yet. It's almost there. It's almost settled, I think, probably.
Is it okay to go down there? Or
almost, I think. I think we're almost there. If you might want to wait till 1, unless you got some way of figuring out what it's going to turn into. But yeah, I got no idea. But
Jim,
we tried it, and we tried going through. We couldn't figure it out.
Jim, it's so interesting that you say that. Could I potentially figure out, based on what I was watching, could I potentially see what it might be?
Possibly, yes. You might be able to do that. Depends.
I'm assuming
Depends what you're wanting to find out, really. Or what are you trying to solve for here? What are you looking for? Who are you looking for, possibly? Who knows? What do you want to do?
Well, some of it is I was literally able to see like the ones that were shifting and not like transforming.
Mm-hmm.
I was mostly able to observe, and let's see if I can find where I wrote that down. Maybe. That might take me a while. If not, I could potentially use this new sort of experimental calculation.
You could.
I'll do that.
So, it is a thing that is, if you can remind me,
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of ways we could play this. We could key it off of your exhaustion talent, or we could key it off of your madness talent. I feel like this might actually trend more madness talent, possibly a little bit. This could just be because that's what I'm attaching everything else to that I do like this. So, we could say this is like an application of your madness talent where things kind of slow down for a moment as you're figuring it out, but this is kind of on a mental level as you are.
That's more fun
Playing
anyway.
with the equations.
Yeah.
Like directly playing with the equations. The building blocks of the city. I'm sure that's perfectly safe. So I think that the pain... Well, again, is there something... What sort of result are you looking for here, I think is the question.
I'm basically... I want to see if I can figure out what this new district might be settling into.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know that it's the re-education district, but I guess really what I'm hoping for is if I can maybe. Well, yeah, I guess that.
You want to figure out like
Sorry,
where the tunnels are going to go?
I'm thinking aloud. Yeah, like that's more of like how the structure of it is going to work.
Sure.
If that's some part of this chaos theory calculation I've been putting together. Okay.
You've seen a map of at least the subway system. And you've been in the sewers, so you know kind of what those look like. You can try to extrapolate. I'm going to set a pain of 3. And you'll need to roll at least, I want to say, this is more general information. So I would just require probably 2 madness dice minimum for you to roll on this.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it at the minimum.
Okay. Okay. I shall roll my 3 pain.
Oof.
I too have 2 successes, but you ties go to you. It appears discipline is dominating. Yeah, discipline's dominating. So if you wish, you may remove a response, or you may check response, or you may remove an exhaustion.
Or an exhaustion, yeah.
And what does this do? And this may not look like anything, but I have to ask, what does this look like? Does this look like anything when you're doing this?
I think I will actually take out a sheet of paper and like start actually like writing out the calculation, and I'll just, pardon, one second, let me see if I can, and then we'll actually scribble it out, and then once I've gotten the solution, I will do a little like very, very rough sketch of like, okay, so I think if this is right, this is where this tunnel should settle. So I think, yeah, we can go down this tunnel and we should be fine. And kind of like, that's kind of what it ends up looking like. Is because I'm trying to map this essentially.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I want to point something out to Dustin real quick, before I tell you the results here. So Dustin, you're gonna notice. Do you go over to? There are some chess tables and stuff and things like. If you want to, use one of those. There are a few little tables in here if you want to use that, or are you just gonna stand there with a notebook or?
I think she's just gonna stand there and kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Go for it.
Dustin, you're gonna notice something. It may be nothing. It's hard to say, but a couple of as you're sort of doing this, a couple of these, one of the kids, one of those sort of older teenagers probably, sort of will sort of notice that Dawson is doing this, and kind of leans over and whispers something to his chum, who's also one of the older teenage kids. Sort of, it's like sort of they'll look, and just sort of will be starting. They start watching the two of you a little bit more intensely, just a little bit curiously. So, Dawson, you're able to suss this out, you think. So it's almost like a calm will come over you while you're doing this, because discipline is dominating and you can figure this out. And it's gonna be, you got the same number of successes I did, so you're not going to get huge, massive informations, but you are going to find out, as you're looking, that, so, from, and I'm trying to think the kind of information you can kind of get based on what you've found thus far, what you have in the, are you comparing it to stuff from the chapbook thing, the journal thing?
Yeah, and also just based on my knowledge of because I had seen Lila's map when we were together. So I'll kind of okay, these are the modern districts, but people have mentioned to me that these change. So, like, maybe it's not quite that, but maybe something sort of equivalent. And then also, basing it on the structure of Diaz.
So, the district to still kind of to the left as you're facing toward the clock tower center is probably going to be turning into something new. It's probably not one of the standbys, but probably something that is wanted by a number of citizens or something like that. Some kind of... you think it's going to be some kind of hub for something, but you're not, it's hard to say. It's going to be a major district.
Yeah.
Re-education district is and always is. District 13 stays where it is pretty much always. The tunnels. Yes. So, couple of things. You're getting the impression that ultimately the tunnels that will look the most like the ones that you were in before are going to be are going to settle somewhere behind you down around where the edge of the grid was. Probably in the area, probably around the outskirts. Whatever district settles to the right of the grid. The tunnels that are part of the... that there's a Wax King's territory down here. And there's also a territory where there are red hot pipes. Red hot pipe territory is probably going to be, again, sort of somewhere along the outside, somewhere in the outskirts. That one's harder to pin down exactly, but it's...
I don't really know what it is. That's fair.
Yeah, it's... You don't exactly know what it is, but probably, if you had to guess, somewhere around the, where, say, like 10 or 11 o'clock would be. Something like that. Maybe.
Okay.
Close to the middle and off, you think the tunnels... You think you can figure out which tunnel's going to head closer to where the Wax Kingdom is? And strangely, the synergy thing kicks in also, where you're like, wait a minute. Like attracting like also would appear to be down the tunnel heading toward the Wax Kingdom.
Okay.
So some kind of happy coincidence lies that way, possibly. Or unhappy coincidence, it's hard to say.
Yeah. I will kind of explain in... I won't overcomplicate this with technical terms, or I don't know how to explain this theory yet, so I won't try, but I will let Dustin know basically that conclusion of... I don't know if you've heard of the Wax King, but I think his kingdom is going to end up somewhere down this way, and I think that is the way we should go, just probability-wise. The probability is there is some sort of chance that way. I don't know how to explain it better than that. I apologize. This place is weird.
No. Intuition is good. Besides, and I think he's going. I think Dustin is going to kind of glance a little bit over towards the other individuals, and it's besides, we seem to be drawing a little bit of attention. So moving along is probably a good idea.
The older kid looks particularly interested when Dawson takes out that chapbook. I'm calling it a chapbook. I actually am not entirely certain if that's really what it would be, but we know what it is we're talking about.
Yeah.
A little thin volume. The Lovelace equations.
Yeah, I think Dustin picks up on that, but Dawson probably, it kind of goes over her head. But yes, also moving on always seems to be good. It's like if a week folks stay in one place, like things just seem to coalesce around them. So yeah, we could get a move on. And we should.
You're gonna start heading in that direction? I think once again, because you're kind of keeping aware of this, it does seem, Dustin, as though those couple of kids are starting to follow you.
Okay. If it seems like they're following us, then Dustin would kind of like suggest, picking up the pace a little bit, trying to, maybe taking a look to see if there's a building or, something that we can kind of duck behind and try to, either take a moment to hide or, be able to like change direction, and then once out of sight, change direction.
Double back around or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is not going to be very difficult. This is it's basically as this, you do note them trying to increase their pace as well. I'm going to give this a pain of 2.
Okay.
And so Dustin is going to be leading. Dawson, if you wish, you may help.
I will toss my discipline in there.
Sure. And
All right. I'm not going to add any madness to this one, so I think we're gonna go with what we have.
all right. Well, we know you're going to succeed. Let me go ahead and. Well, actually, no, we don't. I'm sorry. Only,
No, that was
Olivia. Yes. No successes to contribute. Okay.
Nope.
Alas.
There
There
that
you
makes
go.
sense. I don't really know what we're running.
You may or may not succeed. I'm going to roll my 2 dice.
Oh no.
I have no successes.
Sweet.
Pain is dominating, however. So.
Love that for us.
As this is happening, you'll note it takes you a little bit, as they're sort of it's like you have to duck behind a few different. There are kiosks and things, places, ads for school books, places to sign up for classes, that kind of thing. You will note that as you are heading toward the tunnel, it's like you think you've shaken them, and then you move on. You go around sort of around a ways that can get you closer to the tunnel, and after you've sort of gone behind several pillars, and then they're running again, sort of coming to look for you. And the only thing that you see is that you see this group of, it looks like they're dressed kind of in the manner. How are they dressed? They're dressed like sort of more, it's more sort of a Catholic school sort of bent. So you have these very dark sort of sweaters. It's kind of like almost goth Catholic school type looking thing, almost. and it's these ladies coming in. There are like 3 of them. Much more sort of Victorian-esque looking. And you see these kids sort of spot them, and they immediately turn because they're sort of these 3 girls are kind of coming in between you and them. They're not trying to intercept you or anything, but you see this sort of aura, everyone trying to get out of their way. This kind of dark aura that they have. As they're passing through. You will enter the tunnel. Having lost these kids who were looking for you. I want to say... Yeah, no, I don't think they're ever going to get close enough to you that they can... Yeah, they're not going to shout out at you or anything like that. But they were curious about something. We're going to hop over now for a moment because I want to find out things that are happening in the sewers at large. So Lila and Lana are being escorted by the by Wax Knights. Luca similarly is. I'm going to say that Luca is going to note something that he's going to need to take care of. I do not know what that is yet. We'll find out next week, probably, what that is. But
Lana's gonna slightly lose it, but trust that Luca knows what he's doing. First it was Dawson, and now it's Luca, and...
I'm thinking it's probably... I'm thinking, honestly, it's probably the paint creature.
Oh, well,
having
in
to
that
sort
case.
of deal with something related to that. But we'll get confirmation on that. The Knights... This is before you get even out of the area of the kingdom, so the Knights are going to go ahead and they're going to stop and they're going to send an escort of just one of the Wax citizens with Luca to make sure he's okay. At least as long as he remains underground. But the Wax citizen knows where you're going. They know where you're going, and so they'll be able to try to reunite you with Luca, provided things haven't gone haven't gone pear-shaped.
Toes up.
Yeah. And so provided things haven't gone pear-shaped, they're going to try to, at least do that because they know that this is... Well, there's a binding agreement in place. So they know that they need to also provide an exit for Luca if this is the if they're helping here. So they'll at least they'll commit that resource to it.
Lana feels a little bit better knowing that someone from the Wax Kingdom is not letting Luca run off.
Yeah.
Or at least is with him for the time being.
Yeah. Yeah. For the nonce. We shall see what happens. The knight that is the lead knight that is escorting the two of you is going to take you down a number of tunnels. Sort of the two of you. And I just want to know, is there anything that the two of you want to do before they get to where they're taking you?
I want to see if I can have some sort of vision of where the heck Dawson is.
Okay.
Because I've been nothing but concerned about Dawson since I had to prosecute her. And the fact that she blinked out of existence makes me nervous.
So is this part of? I'm trying to remember. Is this your madness talent, your predictive thing, or is?
Let me find out.
I think that's
I
what it
believe
was.
so.
You're trying to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try to see if you can figure it out.
I'm assuming it's going to be difficult, but
Yes, very. But because you do not have the power of math, so this is going to be.
I just have incredible insight.
Yes, that's right. So I'm going to set a pain of. I'm going to set a pain of 6 for this.
And I would say, much to my detriment, that this is probably a major use of.
Is this your madness talent or your exhaustion?
It's
talent?
my madness
Your
talent.
madness. So major and minor aren't really a thing for madness talents.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's not in that terminology anyway. But I mean, this could still be a
But
quote
in the
unquote
number
major
of
use.
dice he'll make you roll.
I mean, possibly. If you're trying to well, do you want to how accurate do you want this information to be? Like, do you want a pin on a map, or what do you want?
I mean, I'm hoping for a pin on a map, but a district is like a direction to head towards them.
Pin on a map level is going to be 6 madness, no question. District you're looking, just a general district, I'm going to say is probably going to be 4 madness.
I'm gonna make life difficult for myself and go for a pin on a map.
Okay,
Like a That's So Raven moment, here is Dawson.
sure, why not? So that's kind of what you're looking for with this. If you can try to suss it out. You're not going to get the exact location because you don't know where Dawson is, but it's possible. You can try to suss it out. I'm going to be rolling pain 6, and so yes.
And then I'm rolling 6 madness
But
with
you're
my...
rolling. Yeah, if you want pin on a map, then that's 6 madness.
Okay. I'm really want to know. So I'm going to up my permanent exhaustion.
Okay.
I can do that, right?
Sounds like a good idea. Sure.
So I'll be rolling
Yes.
12 dice.
Sounds good. That was 12 dice? Holy crap. Yes, it was. Okay. I'm going to now roll 6 dice. I got 2 successes. You got 3 successes, so you got 1 more success than me. Let's take a look and see. Right now, discipline's dominating. We can't have that. I think I'm going to... let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So many options here of terrible things I could do right now. I'm going to spend a coin of despair, and I'm going to. How many responses do you have checked off right now?
2.
Okay, I'm going to make madness dominate by adding a 6 to that pool. I think, yes. Well, wait, yeah, 6. Yes, there's a 5 in there, so that'll work mathematically. So yes, so you must check off your remaining response.
It's a fight.
Fight response. Your fight response is going to kick in, but I will tell you that from what you can figure out, based on sort of trying to think here, that obviously Dawson got pulled away by something, based on the amount of time it's been, and the possible how far she could potentially go, since the doors that apparently move people from place to place are not working right now. That it is entirely possible, just kind of trying to figure that out, that you get this interesting pulse almost through it as you're sort of trying to see in your mind's eye where Dawson is. And I think for a brief moment, you're going to see her in a tunnel that is under the re-education district. And at that same moment, because madness is dominating, Dawson, it's like for a brief moment, you're not sure what the hell this is, but it's kind of the same feeling you get when your madness talent activates. As another sort of equation occurs to you, or it's part of the same as you're running it through your head and figuring out which direction to go through these sewer tunnels. You get this very strong impression, and you can almost see that Lana is looking at you right now. And you kind of lock on into each other and can kind of... you're in that direction, is what you're going to get. And of course, Lana's fight responses just kicked in.
Yeah, I think Lana is smart enough to not actually pick a fight with these guys, but she's gonna... Can we move any faster? Like, come on, pick up the pace. Be antagonistic.
And just sort of the knight who is escorting the two of you will look over and say, "You want to run it? Oh, you want to run into a rail rider? Feel free to run ahead. Be my guest. There's a reason we're going at this pace."
I think it's just a fuming... I think at the moment it is just a fuming desire to want to punch him, but some immense amount of willpower not to.
Seething!
If this was a cartoon, Lana would have smoke coming out of her ears right now.
Fair. It's very fair. And so there's a bit of grumbling that happens, and as you are over the next just few minutes, the knight will eventually, as you're saying, almost there, for God's sake. Fine, here, there. That way, he says, pointing toward the corridor leading to some steps. Just take that to the end. Don't take any turns. That will put you at the edge of the Clock Tower district.
Thanks. With the most seething undertone possible.
And the knights will kind of sort of stand behind and sort of watch you go. If the I assume, do the two of you go down this corridor?
Well, do I get the... And you can tell me, I have no idea. I know we locked on for a second. Do I get the impression that Dawson is headed my direction? Or headed...
Yes. You get that feeling.
I think Lana is going to go just far enough down that they can't be seen, and wait and see if Dawson comes.
Okay.
And of course, if there's lag time between when Dawson comes, well, I think once they start down the corridor, Dawson is headed this direction. She says to Lila.
Oh, Lila, so Lana has turned around to tell you this, and you see, coming out of a tunnel, coming out of one of the side tunnels, you see Dawson, and coming up behind her You see Dustin. The clock strikes 1.
Way.
And that is where we're going to go to break. We will be back shortly. I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and throw on an interview. And we will see how this goes. See you in a moment. Welcome to the break. I am here with Drac, who is here to talk a bit about a podcast that he's involved in. Greetings.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm part of a very cool podcast called Super Idols RPG. It's a mass campaign set in Canada in a fictitious town which I can't remember the name of now.
Let me see. I had it right here in front of me, and now, of course, it went away. The Cadence, British Columbia?
Cadence, yes. Which actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if it's fictitious, so don't quote me on that. But it's in Canada. It's set in Canada because our GM is Canadian and Erin.
Oh, okay.
But essentially I always describe it as Sailor Moon plus pop idols mushed together. Very magical girl themed. We all have transformation sequences. A lot of fun. But the general premise of it is that we're all high school students at school who are part of a pop idol like after school group. And in this world, people who are really invested in, it's not just music, but I guess creation in general, end up manifesting superpowers. And they are often able to use the superpowers to enhance their creativity in some way. And ours in particular is like pop idols, music, stuff like that. And I play a character called Jaden a lot. He's British actually, is because I'm just very bad at accents. So I decided I'm a British character who moved over to Canada because the schools there tend to be best for rising in pop idoldom. And that's the general premise of it. Obviously, I'm one of the main characters of many. Got some awesome people playing that I get to bounce off and play with all their own themes and tastes with their characters, which is very cool. My character, I took the very innocent and naive route with my character. So I just found that very fun. And hearing everyone else's characters, everyone else who was playing, they already have very much like a mean girl, the lead of the group, the kind of like fashionista. So I was like, I'm gonna be the guy who's just really sweet, almost to a fault, and is way too trusting and probably needs everyone's protection. Despite it being ridiculously powerful. I took the oh god, what was the playbook? I can't remember for the life of me. It's one of the most broken playbooks in my opinion. After the Doomed. The Doomed is pretty intense. I believe it is the Nova.
The Nova.
The Nova playbook. He's kind of like a cute little kid. He has ridiculous amounts of power, but is for the most part too scared and nice to use them. But he has been using them to create music with his friends, which it's been a very fun game to play with everyone. Unfortunately, very recently I had to step out of the podcast because I was juggling too many things.
Oh yeah.
So by the time you're probably watching this, the episode where I stepped away probably would have aired. But we left it open for me to return because I miss everyone already. But I also wanted to make sure I take care of my mental health and energy. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's been a ton of fun. It's really fun.
Cool. Well, yeah, Masks is a very cool game. We've done a series of it on this channel at some point, and it's just sort of neat, the idea, I think, of just sort of mixing the doing that superheroes as pop idols commentary thing that has been becoming more prevalent recently. But to do that in an RPG, very cool, and sort of combine that with a high school setting. I just can only imagine the kind of pressure that someone has got to be under.
It's pretty intense. There's one character, Vivi, who you quite literally that's their, I suppose, arc is specifically the pressure they put under. My characters, so we all have very much our own kind of thing going on with each character, where with the combination of superpowers, high school, and pop idoldom. and trying to make in either of those things. My Jaden Lot is very much a kid who thinks they have to grow up too fast. So the reason why they want to be a pop idol, not just because they enjoy it, because they do enjoy music, but they also want to become famous enough so they could provide for their parents, because they were like, oh, my parents work too hard, I want to make it easier for them. And I think, as sweet as that is definitely a problem especially for a high schooler to have put that pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a very fun thing to explore.
Yeah, no, very cool, very cool. It's definitely just the idea of a high school already is just this incubator for all of these things going on, and just to apply that much additional pressure is a lot. But it's neat to see that that's being played out there. I was just looking over at at the website for the Super Idols podcast, and there's a lot of cool art on there.
Yeah, Monster Monster on Twitter, the absolute legend. They did art for us. We because we were going for a very magical girl theme. We fully have transformations. We have like descriptions of our transformation sequences. So on the website you can see our normal form and then our pop idol form when we transform. It's very cool. Jaden Lot, they let me go a bit wild with Jaden Lot. So Jaden's power I went with was controlling the elements, so fire,
nice.
wind, earth, and water. And now, actually, I won't spoil that, but a bit more later on as well. But with my costume, they allow me to have it change color depending on what element I'm using.
Oh, nice.
So you check the website, you can see the different variations of the outfits, of pop idol outfits that I have. They give us a lot of leeway with not just role play, but also the aesthetic and the art of it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very cool.
That is neat. That's neat. And actually, yeah, if you go down and if you go onto the website and you click on cast, you can see all the character portraits. It's really cool. It's really cool just sort of seeing the art there. Really good, really good. And a lot of fan art on this site too, I've noticed.
Yeah.
You've accumulated.
It's been so weird. I think Super Idols was the first actual play I was a part of that got like not just fan arts, but also like just direct fan responses. I've had people tweet me and like at me directly on Twitter talking about things that they found fun or funny about Jaden in their listen through, and it's been very cool. It's been very interesting.
Excellent. And I love that idea. It's this tier that you're trying to get up to. And actually, as I was looking over the world building section, it looks like you're actually there's like you're at this high school that's not quite the big main high school that folks go to. Like there's an academy, but you're not at the academy, and so you're like just trying to that much even more pressure to compete well in a tournament and actually get.
We actually have a bit of a rivalry with that academy, which has been very fun to play out as well.
Very cool, very cool. Well, if folks want to get a hold of this podcast, where should they go?
You can follow Super Idols RPG on Twitter. You can follow Erin Cerise, that's ERYNCERISE on YouTube. I believe it premieres there every third Sunday of the month, I believe. And you can also listen to it on anywhere you find podcasts. You can find it there as well.
Excellent. And where should folks go if they want to find you?
To find me, you can follow me on Twitter at Drakoniques. That's DRAKONIQES. You can follow me on Instagram as well, but I'll be honest, I'm not on there often. I'm trying to be on there more often, but I'm probably not going to be. Twitter is the best place to find out what I'm doing at any given moment and see what I'm up to, because it's honestly, I've been lucky enough for it to be constantly changing and updating, so keep an eye out there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, folks, and we're going to throw things back to my future self, whatever the hell he's doing right now. So do take care, and we will see you all of a sudden. Hello, we have returned. And an interesting thing, the clock has just struck 1, so the city should be fairly settled at this point. The tunnels have stopped moving, and you're all apparently somewhere close to the to where the edge of the clock tower district is. This tunnel is you can see where it sort of slopes upward, and a set of stairs that'll lead up to the surface, a bit of a ways down this tunnel. But in the meantime, Lila and Lana and Dawson and Dustin have encountered each other in this intersection. They have, using madness talents, they have found each other.
So glad to have you back, Dawson. I hope you never blink out of existence again. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't. But also, who the heck is with you?
Oh, this is Dustin. He just got here.
Hi.
Dustin's just gonna kind of look over and go, Lila, funny seeing you again.
Yeah. I could say the same thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see you, just not here.
Yeah. They're definitely better places. Any idea what brings you here?
Yeah, I'm being used in a pawn in some gambit against the Wax King. Fun times.
But also I found a way out, or got us a way out if we can complete a mission.
An exit for a favor. That's okay. That's about par for the course.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you haven't run into any of the others, have you?
Not from the time that I was here with you.
You been here since then?
Yep. Once in between now and then. Ran into someone I knew from that time. Apparently he left a piece of himself behind, and it has a life of its own now.
Oh. This place just gets weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
So, where do we go from here?
We're supposed to go up topside. Apparently there's a brand new river that's formed, and the Wax King wants to know where it's coming from. Possibly why.
We're
New
kind of in a
river,
le-
new subway.
Kind of in a legally binding agreement, or I am.
You made a legally binding agreement with
I didn't-
someone here.
Here was the thought process. If I could get any of us out, I wanted to. And I trust these nightmares about as far as I can throw them. So yeah,
Yeah, okay, that tracks.
I can throw them farther.
I'm a lawyer back in the
That
real
tracks too.
world. And yes, I realize that this might bite me in the butt. But I'm glad we've found Dawson, and jury's still out on you, Dustin. I'm Lana, by the way.
Lana the lawyer.
Technically district attorney, but yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Right. So, so we find a river, and then we get out.
I'm assuming we'll have to report back somehow, but yeah, that's the general idea.
But mapping it and seeing like where it goes and where it came from, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
How interesting.
Lana shoots Dawson a look like, I don't know if I like it when you say the word interesting.
It is. That's never happened here before, right? Or not in the last, little bit.
Apparently not in a good long while, according to the wax king.
If he is to be believed.
I don't know. I never met him before myself.
Wait, how did you make an enemy? How did you become his enemy if he never met you before?
Well, things sort of coalesce around those of us who are awake. So, it was a Venn diagram of chaos.
So the more times I come here, the more Venn circles that are
Gonna overlap? Yeah.
It's kind of like how you notice more supervillains once you become a hero.
Yep.
I mean, I suppose I have seen my fair share of villainy in my career.
At this point, I'm practically a vigilante around here.
Oh,
Just how many times have you been back?
Look, this is just the third. Third time's the charm, right?
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. Alrighty then. I thought I was mad with toying the idea coming back deliberately, but
I didn't exactly plan on being here tonight, but what do you do? Didn't plan on it either the first two times either.
I mean, I didn't really have a choice. It was get attacked by needle noses or come here. And quite frankly, neither of the options sound great.
okay.
I'm assuming we're walking down the tunnel while this conversation is happening.
I also assumed we were doing a walk and talk.
I just had that thought. Are we just standing here?
None of us really wants to linger in one place for too long in case of convergence.
That's fair. Well, in that case,
Yeah.
when you've reached the stairs, that see these big solid sort of slab concrete steps that head up to what looks like a grating. Door-sized.
Is it like I'm assuming like the grating in sidewalks where it has like a little hinge?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I think Lana hesitates for a second, not knowing where Luca is. But us also Luca didn't seem real keen on getting dragged into all this with Lana.
I assume it's because he doesn't want to be around me anymore.
I was trying not to jump to that conclusion. I don't know if I have evidence to support that conclusion. He was the most flabbergasted out of the two of you.
we almost argued.
I'm not sure that would have stopped me.
No.
But I think, can we see through the grating, or is it thicker than what we can see through?
So I should point out that it is vertical. So it is kind of like a door.
Okay.
I had
It does have a setup kind of like if someone were stepping over it. That it has a similar setup to the ones that lie flat, but this one is a little bit more door-like, basically. Yes,
okay.
You can see through it. If you head up to it, you can see the you see Town Square, which is circular, big and circular, big sort of arena circular thing. You see cars are it's just after 1. So cars are slowly bleeding back into this roundabout that goes around it. You see from here, you can see. So ahead of you, there's a you have the roundabout, and then in the middle you have buildings. A few buildings crowded around the base of this clock tower. Very dark-looking, Big Ben-looking clock. 13 numbers on it. You can see it's just it's just past 1. And you'll note that across this district, you can see what looks like you think that opposite from you is probably where the Penitence District is? Because you can see the same sort of spires, the same kind of church-like, old sort of Gothic architecture over there in that direction. To your right, you can see what looks like, you see the archway entering District 13 and the big sort of blocky District 13 buildings. With the pipes that go everywhere. And off to the left, you see billboards, several electronic billboards advertising different things. And you see there are a number of, it looks like transmitter towers over there, you think? And somewhat more modern looking buildings, somewhere from between like, the oldest looking buildings you can see over there look like they might be from, say, the 70s. And up through present day. Interesting, weird, modern architecture over there.
So that people might broadcast things. Interesting.
Yes.
Well, we know at least one that does.
Yeah, we do.
You haven't heard from them recently, have you?
I wonder what you're going to say now.
Maybe not.
You know, I have noticed that you seem to be suffering from a bit of an image problem lately. You know, I am still here. I could help you with that. You've been doing so much running lately. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to stop?
You know what they say. You can't stop the signal.
True. Well, it's true. Not as true as I'd like it to be sometimes, I suppose. But beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Still. You like the new district, by the way. I don't know if you can see it quite so well from where you are. The delightful thing about it is it wasn't entirely my handiwork. Seems it's a thing people want. Fancy that.
Interesting.
And then he doesn't say anything else at the moment.
Does Lila look like she's just talking out loud to herself, or what is the perception everyone else gets at the moment?
I mean, the one thing she said could hypothetically have been a continuation of what she was saying to Dustin.
Yeah, she sounds very neutral.
Yeah. And then she muttered, interesting, to herself.
I think Lana gives Lila a look. Do I see anything that looks like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon?
Not from here, no.
Unfortunate. Okay. And there's a big clock tower.
Yep.
So presumably, I don't know if I know what that means. Never mind.
Big clock, 13 numbers on
It's
it.
got 13 numbers on it.
I think Lana could draw conclusions, but I don't know that Lana really knows what this place is, like where we are at the moment. Well,
I mean,
Do we know where this river is?
yes, sort of. I mean, we know it's in the Garden District. Beyond that, I don't know where it is at the moment.
Well, presumably running rivers make sound, and I could try to locate it that way. But there's a lot of sound coming at me right now, and I'm exhausted.
I know we don't want to linger in a place too long, but while we're in like relative comfort under, well, did we leave or no? I just looked through the grate. Like, why don't we just take a $5 or a $10 and just chill out for a minute?
And is it possible to, and I'll ask this to Lila and Dustin, can people go to the clock tower? Is that a thing?
Maybe?
Possibly. I mean, we never tried the last time.
Just, it's the highest thing, well, not the highest thing in the city, but the highest thing here. It just might give us a better
I mean,
direction to go.
where does Officer Talk come from? Because I don't think we should. I don't think we should bring Lila anywhere near anywhere he might. Well,
It'll probably take him a while to be rebuilt, but
doesn't mean he doesn't have minions.
oh yeah. He's probably sent the tax man out to get me now.
Okay,
Again.
at second thought, I don't think we should stay here. Now that I suggested that and talked myself out of it.
So you've already run into Officer Talk and the taxman?
Just Officer Tuck. But
Lila has lots of friends.
resisting arrest kind of puts, the alert out. That was right before the clock struck 13, so things have been a little chaotic.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I mean, I don't see any reason why we can't try for the clock tower.
I mean, even if we can't, we could just, presumably all districts touch the center here. Or, I mean, I know that they don't, but like we could at least get a sort of sense of which way we should go from this central location.
Either way, we could try to get up to a rooftop again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jim, I know things were in flux still. Do I remember seeing anything else identifiable near where that river was, like another district? I know things are still moving. And so the answer may be no, but...
Could you actually? I'm sorry. Something just struck me a moment ago as I was looking over at something else. And I just need to check something real quick. Yeah. Incidentally, yeah. Sorry. For those of you just joining us, by the way, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for coming. Let us know if I seem to be if it sounds like I'm suddenly talking over anyone. That means we may be out of sync. Please let me know if we are out of sync, because that happened a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago. I can't remember. What is time? But let me know if there are any sort of sound delays or anything that you're hearing right now from anyone. We had a weird thing last time where Zoom was delayed by like 5 seconds. I think we fixed it, but I can't hear it right now, so let me know. That said, what is it you're wanting to figure out again? Could you?
Well, I guess I'm just... Lana is trying to rack her brain. I know things were moving still when they used the periscope. But she wants to know, well, I want to know if she recognizes anything else that might be useful for locating where the garden district is, or might be. And the answer can be no, she doesn't remember, or it doesn't matter now. That is.
Well, you saw it through the periscope, and you had an idea of where that was pointed. And so, if the garden district has not moved since you looked at it, if that is the case, then it is probably somewhere to your right.
Okay. So,
like behind either District 13 or the district you're under right now.
and okay, and I know the map isn't like geographical, but we're at the center of any of the Mad City maps, right? Like, we're in District 13, which is the center of everything.
Well, you're in the Clock Tower district, which is the center of everything. District 13 is a separate district.
Okay, that was bad player knowledge, or bad remembering, and English apparently, bad English and bad remembering. So, Lana, after pondering for a second, looks back to everyone. If the garden district was done moving when I looked at it, we should head to the right and eventually we'll see it.
Okay.
It's a good enough place to start as any, and yeah. We do that.
You're going to open the door and go through?
I think we have to.
Well, if we take a breather, can we use some hope tokens to
Yes.
remove exhaustion?
Yes, you
Because
can.
that might be a good idea for some of us.
Yes, you
Can we
certainly
take
can.
a little shorter than a short rest?
Yeah, you've had time. You've had enough time to basically spend some coins of hope. You can remove one exhaustion or remove one check mark from fight or flight response.
I suppose I should not snap.
You have 8 hope right now.
Well,
I'm
okay.
for sure gonna spend one to remove an exhaustion.
So if you use one, just drag it down below.
Okay.
I have to probably remove a check from fight or flight now that I've checked them all. That's probably
That's like 5 tokens.
no, it's
No.
not.
5,
is it also
so
just one?
5 minus a certain amount. That's if you have hours, basically, if you have a long time to rest.
Okay.
And that's if you've lost discipline and increased your madness.
Oh,
That's a
I
way
was
to
like
reverse
flipping things around. Okay.
If you're just reducing your exhaustion or unchecking a fight or flight response, it's just 1 coin.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, I can't do both because I'm also at 5 exhaustion, but probably better to not snap. I have a little wiggle room on the exhaustion front. I can't do both because I'm also due to that unfortunate failure finding well, not failure, just not very good success. Success with
Complication.
consequence. Yeah, I was gonna say with a consequence.
Yes.
Get real angry.
So I know this is going to sound kind of strange, but
Yes.
I need to do a quick sync check just to make sure
Okay.
that because this is the thing that just severely irritated me the last time it happened, and I just want to make sure it's not happening again.
Okay.
So could someone say something for me? And
Something for me,
want to make sure it's not happening.
and I'm
again.
gonna continue to
Okay.
say things because we're testing the audio. I'm very creative about audio testing.
We're good.
Cool.
I mean, at least you didn't do the every sound person's worst nightmare.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Apologies to those of you watching now, wondering what the heck's going on. That was it's just it crawled into my brain and I had to take care of it. Anyway, so yes, we have. So my apologies for that interruption. You may proceed with what you were doing.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I
Yeah.
think after we take a minute.
Right,
sorry,
that's right.
Olivia, I talked to
No. I was probably going to say much the same as you were about to say. So go for it.
Yeah. Did anyone want to spend any
I'm
more
gonna
hope? I'm
open
sorry.
the door.
Was anyone spending any hope? Any more hope besides what you've spent already? Or is that it?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
This whole being at 5 exhaustion thing makes me nervous.
Used to it.
I think I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna gamble. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Gambling in the Mad City can never go wrong.
Never.
I've already
Unless
gambled.
you're Dawson.
That went so well.
I still don't know what all I've lost. I'm still trying to figure out which pieces are missing, so it's fine.
Sure, everything's fine.
What? Lana goes up to the door and pushes it
The
open.
door is opening. And you step out. Presumably, does anyone step out into the square?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Going.
Yeah.
And as you are stepping out, you kind of there's this sort of you realize you're stepping out of sort of this there's this sort of this archway structure around the that's sort of around this opening, and you're sort of stepping out and looking around. You will hear from somewhere kind of over your right shoulder. You hear someone say, "Spare a few coins, miss."
Lana doesn't have currency, correct?
That is correct. No one has currency. No one in this party has currency for this realm. Aside from, anything you want to give out of your own brains or existences, but that's, The guy asked for coins, so you don't have any coins that are legal to... You saw them being made downstairs, though.
That should have just grabbed a handful.
I know, right?
And technically, Lana has one that turned into the bangle on her wrist,
Yeah.
which doesn't do this person any good. Because I have a feeling this binding contract is non-transferable.
Probably not.
I think Lana just starts walking towards the right away from the person.
Okay. Do you look and see anything about them, or do you just, charge away?
I think charge away, because I think even though we've had a moment to chill, Lana, doesn't want to make any
You're
rash
going to
decisions.
bolt out into traffic. into
Not bolt
the
out,
roundabout.
Not
No.
into the roundabout.
There is
but,
a sidewalk if you want to go one way or the other.
Lana's gonna, now that the group is finally all together, well, we're not all together, but the majority of us are together, Lana would like to keep everybody together, so.
I mean, as far as I know, Lana's the only one who's gone through the door, so
Well, I'm hoping everybody else follows my lead. I guess that's not up to me, but
I guess not.
I think I think we all said that we had kind of followed
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
We're
You do?
going.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So
Yeah. Looking around, you will see that there is a. So, when you get onto this, it gets late. One gets into a funny mood. My apologies. You get no. You step out. And you will look over your shoulder. You'll see, and I'm sure one of you looks over your shoulder and sees that there's this. Unless you're all trying desperately to avoid this person, it's basically another of those kids. Not the same ones you saw down in that station, but similarly garbed, of a similar dint, basically. And he's sitting up on this. This kind of raised block. I want to call it a block, but it's an architectural feature, right? That's on the sort of outside of this building. Sort of goes around, and you kind of look up and you realize that you are in front of what looks like probably the re-education district. A lot of sort of these sort of dark buildings with there are a number of it looks like one of them, there's like a school bus port somewhere. There are look very much like academic buildings of various types from various eras. It gets darker the further up you get to the top. You can't quite see, even since you're right in front of it, you can't quite see what's at the top. And then, I mean, you've got the connected roofs and everything happening here also. So, I mean, you've got all manner of stuff up here. You can't see the planes from up here. But You just sort of look up, sort of you see night sky, and then there's stuff probably on the roof, basically.
Wait, we keep going to the right, I assume, unless somebody has another idea.
Yeah. You're basically walking in front of, you're walking past the re-education district, or, there are, you're in front of the re-education district at this point. You're gonna see, again, all manner of people that are coming out. There are people, and then there are people that look human, and then people that look like combinations of various other things. You get a few glances as to see as you're all coming out of this sort of sewer grating, but it's things are starting to settle down a little bit. You will note ahead of you that a number of police cars are returning to District 13. Some of them via the roundabout.
I think Dustin's gonna instinctively move away from the, how you street side of the sidewalk and then building side.
Yeah.
Upon sight of those police cars, Dustin's gonna immediately start to move closer to the buildings, and
there are clockwork detectives out for some reason right now. Actually, for various reasons that have been happening, both in this group and the one on Friday. So I think for anyone who is, I think yes, we're trying to avoid being noticed. I think that's really, I think I'm sort of getting that vibe that you're trying to avoid being noticed by all manner of these folks, and so I think the main thing to avoid, presumably the clockwork cops. Let me see. I'm going to give this a pain of 4. And who is leading this effort?
I would say Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin
since he made the move to.
Yeah.
As he suggested, yeah. I'd be willing to help with that, though.
Yeah.
That roll.
I think as soon as Lana notices the clockwork cops or detectives, clockwork anything that isn't the clock on the tower.
Yeah.
She would be willing to help as well.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone who rolls, of course, will share in both the victory and in whatever's dominating. But yeah, I'm gonna be rolling 4 pain dice.
And,
up to you folks.
and I just
you did.
auto rolled on accident. Yeah.
Ah, that's cool. You got two successes to contribute.
We have 3 right now from Dawson and Lana.
all right.
Okay.
And roll. Think. Okay. Jim, just so you know, I'm about to go ahead and roll. It may show up twice.
Huh?
So I said I'm going to do my roll, but it may show up twice. Oh, nope. There we go.
Okay. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 successes. I have 3. And so you have 4 more successes than me. You're going to do really well. Let's see.
Looks like it's pain, though.
Does look like pain's dominating.
Oof.
Unless I decide to do something dastardly, which actually I don't think would benefit me right now. So pain's dominating. I will take another token of despair. Yeah, so... Huh. This is an interesting question. One wonders. One wonders. For pain to be dominating here. So, as you are walking, you will note that there are things like street vendors and things of that nature here, just like anywhere else. This district, things are kind of more academic. Anything else? But you're not being noticed, but you will see that up ahead of you. So, I think that up ahead of you, there are a few things one can do. You will note that there is a major intersection that's coming. A major intersection between District 13 and the Re-Education District. But there are smaller alleys and intersections between here and there. And you're going to see that you can probably avoid detection. But you will see into the square from District 13 and sort of coming around, you do note there's probably a pack, like at least half a dozen of these needle noses are coming out from under the arch. These
Lovely.
dog-looking, sewing machine-looking creatures. And they're sniffing around. They haven't spotted you. But you see they are slowly approaching as they're looking around and sniffing.
Should have bought the t-shirt.
And they're probably going to be up to where that major intersection is by the time you get there. You have choices, of course.
How are we avoiding these doggies, people?
Yeah.
I think we do an about face and go the other way around the circle.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a few ways you can do this. The fastest way would probably be to turn into one of these alleys or one of these smaller streets, side streets.
Detour.
through the Re-Education District. That would be one way. The other way would be to try to go about face and hope they don't get a lock on you before you get to another major intersection. It's up to you. Or third thing, you can just find somewhere to hide in this square. Sort of depends what you want to do.
Don't want to stay here any longer than we have to. Knowing we're on a mission.
We could also try to go up.
Could duck
Hypothetically.
into an alley and try to get up.
Yeah, onto a rooftop.
That's another way.
You said there are vendors nearby, right?
There are, yeah. They're starting to come out again. The vendors. Most of those are in the main, sort of in the hub, beyond the roundabout. But yeah, the ones that are out here on this side, you're probably going to see some folks on this side trying to sell things like water bottles, school spirit badges, things of that nature. Not textbooks. Textbooks are a whole thing.
Right.
There are those like weird energy drink vendors that always hang out outside of high schools.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So if we were to try and look for somebody that was selling like cloaks, that would be more towards the hub, or
So if you want to find a clothing store, that's probably going to be either in the hub, or you'd have to go into the district to try to see if there's one in there. Those are the two closest ways.
yeah, I'm not looking for like clothing particularly. I'm just looking more for like a cloak or a poncho or something. Cape.
Yeah, so like rain gear, that kind of
But-
thing.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not immediately out here. Again,
Okay.
but yeah, there
Okay,
easily
like
could be
a-
stores. There are probably a lot of the buildings you are passing. There are stores you are passing, also.
Right.
So there might be one. There might be one close by.
School sports team baseball cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. There's probably one actually, just sort of looking. Yeah, you think that you will actually, even passing one of the side streets, you'll see down just a couple, like a couple of blocks down, just a block or two, you can see there is a store like that.
My vote is for alley, and then hopefully up. But at least an alleyway.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a fairly decent idea. So, if we look one of these side streets where we can see, the kind of like the school store, spirit store or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Are there like, ladders going up towards the rooftops
Ah.
anywhere near one of those stores?
So there probably is. Not that you can see immediately. They're probably not going to be out in front. They're going to
Around
be
the
sort
back,
of,
maybe.
yeah, like around the back of the buildings, that kind of deal. And the back or the sides of those buildings.
I mean, that's still, even if we just duck into like the nearest one and then see if we can't.
Yeah.
Just like look around.
Okay. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna find your way. You're gonna find your way quickly, and you're gonna find there's basically is this the store with above it there are several Greek letters. They're like 7 of them. So hard to know if it's like representing any one particular.
There's like
Yeah.
3 L's and a couple of D's.
No, none of those,
No,
unfortunately. These are not your Greek letters. But
Because that would be a trap.
that would definitely be a trap.
Yeah.
So you do see that store. Did you want to duck in and grab something, or are you going to do something outside?
I'm gonna duck. I don't know if anybody else is gonna follow me into the store, but I'm gonna duck in real quick to talk to the shopkeeper, and I'm just gonna ask you, just kind of like right off the bat, do you have any cloaks?
Stand by.
And are they made of hide?
So the shopkeeper, and sort of as you go in, There are a few students in here. And the shopkeeper turns from their counter around there. The counter's kind of off to the side, and inside you see there are a lot of varsity jackets, umbrellas, hats, things like that, ponchos. The shopkeeper turns to look at you. The shopkeeper is looks like they are their skin is strange in that it is kind of glass-ish looking, sort of. But not smooth. It's like all these ridges that are like lines going down, up and down this person. And they're wearing a sweater with patches on the elbows. And they are like, hide? Yes.
Yeah.
You want to... We have some things made of hide. It's, I have to check something real quick. Okay. He sort of will point. He says, by the cloakroom. We have belts. We have hats. We have school cloaks. If you're with the university, you get a discount.
I'm gonna go over and real quick take a look to see, or is there anything like like a cloak near the cloakroom?
You head over to the cloakroom, or near the cloakroom, where you see they have like miter boards and things, and then across from that, on the opposite side, where there's an entrance to the cloakroom, changing room. That's what I was looking for, changing room. Across from that, you will see a section labeled disciplinary hides. And you see there are a number of what look like leather coats and hats and belts. School cloaks.
Do they do they have any indicator as to what their cost is?
Yes, there are price tags. A lot of them have to do, a lot of the, seems like one of the currencies in this district is lessons. There are no listings for wax coins. But yeah, there's sort of an L symbol. But then some places it says lessons. And in some places, so you figure L must mean lesson. It says on some of the tags. And there's like it breaks down to the quarter. There's like 2 lessons, one lesson, 2 lessons, 3 lessons, or There's like half a lesson, a quarter lesson, 2 1/4 lessons, 2 3/4 lessons, etc., etc. Is anyone coming into the store with Dustin, by the way? Or are you folks just sort of hanging outside?
I think we're maybe investigating the back of the building.
Okay.
But no.
Yeah, no, I think Lana is gonna stay outside.
Okay. Cool. Is Lila staying outside or investigating the back or?
Lila's probably like circling around the back as well, trying to be like as much out of sight as she can manage.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'll come back. Around the back is where you're going to find the ladder. Essentially, that's going to head up. Dustin, and Lana, you're sort of keeping an eye on Dustin from outside, I think, probably. Is that right?
Yeah, I want to be close enough that, like, if he's having a conversation again with the storekeep and it looks like it's going south, that I can maybe step in and use my lawyerly abilities to persuade and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm letting him do his thing until that point.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to assume that something larger like a cloak or a jacket is probably going to be more expensive. It's going to be like in the 3 or 4 lesson realm.
Yeah.
Okay. And
as you're looking at them, you see it's leather of some kind, sewn together. Some of it looks like it might have been shredded, so there's some with like tassels and stuff like that on them.
so I think Dustin, as soon as he sees the tag and he thinks about it for a moment, and I think when he realizes that nobody else followed him in the store, there's going to be that moment where he thinks about it. And that's like, okay, there's 4 of us, 3 or 4 lessons per. Yeah, that's probably going to be a bit costly. And so I think he's just going to thank the shopkeeper and leave.
All right. And you notice that part of the, up to around sort of the, maybe on sort of his arms, his hands actually. No, he's wearing a sweater. See sort of around the neck, you see, just sort of like, And you see a bit of red rising up through all those little rivulets going up and down him. Oh, very well. Very well. Do let us know if there is... if there's anything in particular is there something in particular that you might be looking for, sir?
Oh,
perhaps we have it or can order it.
No, not necessarily anything in particular. I was just curious. I want to go ahead and let a few of the other students know.
Ah. Very good. Which college?
The School of Hard Knocks.
Oh. I'm afraid we don't carry that particular institution's colors. as they have their own shop. You're going to want to head a bit further down and take a right.
Oh, great, thanks. Yeah, sometimes you get a little turned around. That's all. So, and I think at that point, Dustin's gonna try and exit as quickly as possible.
Okay. So meanwhile, you have Lila and Dawson have found the way up that presumably goes up to the roof.
Yeah.
And
can we like, while this has been going on, can we like scout ahead and just make sure that this connects to other rooftops, and then we can
Sure.
come down and wait for the
yeah,
wait for the
certainly.
other two?
It absolutely does.
Cool.
It's very tall. These buildings are kind of tall, like some of the others. Maybe not quite as tall as in some of the other districts. These look a lot like educational buildings. I will say, as you're up here, do you go all the way up to the roof, or you just go up high enough to see if there are connections?
I'd probably go all the way up.
Okay. So you will, looking around, get a decent view, somewhat. You'll probably be able to see more from here. Because you have the clock tower behind you, and ahead of you, possibly you might. There's some greenery in one direction. You might be able to. That's probably where the Garden District is. On the opposite side of District 13, it looks like. But close. A lot of academic buildings of various eras, looks like. Now, I will say the one that stands out the most is there is an academic building up on these roofs. In about the center of the re-education district, so it's going to be sort of more to your right as you're looking out in this direction. Sort of in the middle, it has big pillars. And it's like one of the taller buildings probably also, but it has sort of these big sort of there's kind of this like temple, this sort of Greek temple looking type architectural style for it. But on the outside, there's still, bricks, and, there's probably an interior of some kind, but it looks particularly menacing. And you can see even from this side, it's got written across the top, high school. That's the most prominent of these schools.
Right.
And yet, there are so many people that think those were their best years.
But yes, no, you're able to. Is everyone going to head up? Basically, once you've ascertained that, or you just basically head back and report, that kind of deal. Okay.
Yeah, basically, and just wait for Dustin and Lana to come around.
Is anyone else doing anything on ground level before you head up? Okay. So you see that these roofs are connected. You can see the other roofs. You can kind of see off, sort of. It's actually not. It's way off to the right. One of the districts, you can kind of see the tops of the planes over in that area. Of the various airplanes that are smashed into a series of roofs. That's very distant in the opposite direction from where you're headed. You're going to see rather a lot of again, as you go through, you see a lot of doors up here. And this basically will be, you can kind of get a direction and see sort of where the garden district is. You cannot hop from here on, there's nothing connecting to the roofs over on District 13, but you can get closer. Every now and then you see people coming out of some of the doors that are up here. They're all manner of doors and windows and ports into things, trap doors, things that are incongruous. Some of them look like they belong, like roof access doors. But then anything that's not a roof access door, it looks like there's like wooden house doors, there are like restaurant doors, all kinds of things up here. And I think as you are heading outward, you can see a number of these different schools and colleges, and there's very sort of an Oxford-like motif for some of them on the other end of the district. You think, and there's actually, Dawson, there's a college that looks kind of very similar. Looks like it might have even been the same architect as the one that built your college.
Nice.
It looks very familiar. There's something very familiar about it.
Weird. Is that in the direction we're going?
No, that's off to the right a bit.
Okay.
It's it's between here and the other end of the district, but it's there.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel like it, you could veer off, but it's up to you.
I'm not going to, but the thought tugs a little bit.
It does. So, you're going to make it to coming close to the outer corner. As you're heading around, you will note that they're still on the opposite side of this district. So, and they don't appear to be heading in this direction, but you do note distantly a number of figures on bicycles on the opposite end of the re-education district from where you are currently. They're roving around looking for something. Who knows what? But as you come to the outer edge, you will see that across from you now, as you're coming up to where you're on top of what seems like it's probably some kind of a legal building, actually, strangely enough, that probably has a courthouse housed within it, close to the bottom. But across from you, you've got this. You've got a street. You've got the sort of the middle ring street, right, between the bigger districts and the smaller districts. Ahead of you, as you're looking, you see what is probably the Shadow District. Lots of spires that are dripping with this almost sort of silky, gauzy darkness, looking very medieval in structure. To your left, you can see, to your immediate left, you've got District 13, with its many, many ducts atop their roofs, their connected roofs. A lot of clockwork thingies up there. And diagonally across from you, across from District 13, is the Garden District. And you see, Lana, you recognize these same kinds of buildings, sort of hanging garden-looking buildings. There's greenery all over the place. There's a lot of sort of thick greenery, sort of toward the middle and back away. A lot of thick greenery, a lot of these buildings that look kind of like sort of the same way that a lot of apartment buildings look. But every building has like balconies with grass or other greenery growing on it. Lots of plants over there. Sort of you can see the Garden District. You see, people moving around down on the streets. You see what look like there may be vegetable people in there. And you can kind of see where the river is, maybe. You can't really see it very well, but you can see it. That you can see it not too far into the Garden District. You don't see the exact source of the river, but you can see that it is there. And it kind of snakes all the way around past where you can see. Possibly to the edge of that district.
Nice.
There is something... You can't quite get the full shape of it from here. You'd probably need to be in the Garden District to see more what the shape of that thing is.
So we have a direction at least, though.
Now we just have to figure out how to skirt around District 13 to get there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We could always just, get up as close as we can and then, again, see if we can't just go directly around District 13 and hook back down.
Yeah, you can probably find ways down. Do you want to find... So, there are a number of doors up here. There are also... you probably can find a ladder somewhere. Or if you can try going inside the building, it's up to you. You do note that the kids on bikes, or the things that look like kids on bikes, are getting closer.
Does it look like they're actively investigating, or are they just they are riding and happen to be coming our way?
They seem to happen to be coming your way. It doesn't look like they're pursuing you.
Okay.
Maybe we should head down before they notice us.
Yeah.
Which, how do you want to get down?
I mean, yeah. Just down the way we came, presumably.
Find another fire escape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah, no. You can find those ladders heading down. You will note it does take it takes a few minutes to get down to the ground. And you see what look like once again a number of as you are about halfway down. You will see there are a number of it looks like a number of unruly students out stalking around. They're all wearing sort of this So you see them wearing sort of a bunch of these. They all seem to have these sweaters with a Greek letter on them. Which I will select now. I'm going to spin the random wheel of Greek letters.
Okay.
And apparently there's a sound effect involved. It is the symbol for row, the sort of P-looking symbol. That a lot of them have, and they're doing things where like they seem to be kind of drinking. They're sort of coming out, sort of throwing bottles, and just sort of laughing and singing type deal, very loudly. These look like fraternity people, basically. You wish to continue heading down?
I'd rather deal with drunk frat people than paper boys, honestly.
Sure.
Weirdly.
Understandable. Understandable. So, you head down the ladder. You're going to be fairly close to where they are. And, you see one of them is going to, kind of yell in your direction as you're coming to the ground. And they're like, "Hey, roof climbers!
Hey, what?
What brings you here? Huh?"
I feel like we could ask the same to you.
And they say, and another of them says, "Hey, you're on our turf."
What goes up must come down.
And the lead, who's got this sort of this big-chested fellow, sort of crosses his arms and says, there's a toll come through here, right?"
Mm-hmm. Care to elaborate? Care to elaborate?
And they just sort of look at each other and they sort of giggle.
Sounds made up, but okay.
Lay our cards out. I was trying to gather a little more information of what they were expecting from us.
Yeah. You got... They're like, "Yeah, you got to pay a lesson."
I'll teach you a lesson. No.
How drunk does the barrel-chested person appear?
He's in that sort of phase where he is, he's in that phase where he is at unruly. He's just about at unruly.
Does he look steady on his feet?
He is in that point where, he looks kind of in that zen point where he can, play billiards really well. Yes.
I know that state very well. Yeah.
Like darts and billiards are
Yeah.
apparently very. He's riding that right now.
Been there
Okay,
once or twice.
Lana is going to square up to him at the mention of a lesson because she's still fuming from earlier.
Yeah, that's fair.
She would like to do that move where you like throw someone over your shoulder and then have them land on their back to this guy.
Okay, so let me give you a pain rating for this guy. Let's see. I think the thing this is closest to. Yeah. I'm gonna give him a pain of 3. For just this one guy.
I haven't been rolling very well tonight. Okay. I think I'm going to add 3 madness in addition to everything else I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 successes.
That's a lot of successes. I have only
Yes.
1 success. You have 5 successes, so you're going to execute this really well. However, let me check what's dominating. Oh, it looks like exhaustion's dominating. Please increase your exhaustion by 1.
Mistakes were made, guys. I should have lowered
This is
it.
very tiring what you're about to do.
I mean,
But
I imagine that Lana is like, she's physically fit, but like I have always imagined her as like a 5'6" human being.
Mhm.
And in my head, this man's at least 6, or this person's
yeah.
6 feet tall.
Easy.
At least.
I mean, you've got leverage on him.
Yeah, lower center of gravity for Lana.
so you have 5 successes. What does this look like?
I think everybody else, he says the word lesson. Lana squares up, and all of a sudden, he is no longer standing in front of Lana. And he's on his back on the ground. And she looks down over the top of him and goes, "How's that for a lesson?"
And so some of them actually start laughing when that happens.
Oh, dang, bro.
Yeah, that kind of thing, absolutely. And they're like sort of weaving around tiredly as this is as this is going on, and they're like, and they're not. He's like, we're gonna take that. We're gonna take, and he's starting to. They're he is. A couple of them are coming up to try to get him back to his feet. And he looks very upset. As though he is he's like
I did just pick on a drunk
he's
guy.
like tearing off his jacket.
Is he still on the
And
ground?
he's like I'm sorry?
Is he still on the ground at the moment?
He's on the ground. They're starting to pick him up. And he's like, come on. And they are starting to get a bit rowdy. A little bit. I will say, those of you who are not involved in this conflict will also hear it sounds like another group approaching. They're singing very loudly and badly. There is a tendency toward like it sounds kind of like a sort of like English drinking song type deal.
Oh, like they just came from the pub.
Yeah, basically some of these, yeah, from another direction. Actually, yeah, from it's a little bit ahead of where you want to go. Is where he is from a side street coming in that way.
Oh, well.
And so they're trying to get this guy to his feet, and they're starting to look a little bit rowdy. These frat guys. What are we doing?
Maybe get out of here before it gets all West Side Story over here.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
a
go.
graceful exit is the best policy.
Lana will
Exit is
walk.
probably already out of the question.
So, are these guys? These guys are clearly in the way of like our escape.
The frat
Like,
guys
they're
are
in the-
not. they're actually on the they're more toward the inward side of the of that street.
Okay.
There's singing coming, but you're more focused on this.
Yeah. I think what Lana would like to do, and then turn around and leave, is try to trip him to get him back on the ground.
Okay, that I'm just going to say you can do that. That's easy enough. Whereas they're like, hey, but that does piss them off.
It's fine.
And they're going to start moving in your direction, very threateningly. Depending on how fast you're moving, will depend on how fast they're moving. And Lila and Dawson and Dustin probably you'll get to the point where you've come abreast of this side street, and you see these again. It's more of these freaking Dickensian kids, and you see that a couple of them sort of point and just sort of look at and one of them will sort of call out, "Hey, you lost or something?"
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh, that sounds like he needs help, don't you? Yeah. Sounds like you might need a little assistance, eh? Yeah. And they're starting to approach. It's hard to tell if it's a threatening fashion or a good-natured fashion.
Yeah.
The circles are coalescing.
What'd you? And
You were
sort of
born.
a couple of these kids that are sort of in front, got their arms crossed, are sort of stepping up. They say, "Well, how can we help you?" And he says, sort of bowing. Do you need directions? Or you need something else?
Dawson's like, I made a mistake earlier. Well, yeah, sure. How do we get to the Garden District? Like, what is there an easy way?
Oh, you're almost right there. And they're going to come out into the intersection, into this little intersection. I feel as though I need to know if this is going to go south. Actually, we know this is going to go south in one way or another. I just need to know I just need to know which way is south. So I'm going to give you a pain I'm going to give a pain rating here for this interaction. This interaction will be actually, for reasons I can't divulge, this interaction will only have a pain rating of 2. For reasons I can't divulge.
Okay.
This group is slightly friendlier. That's fairly obvious.
These nightmares aren't fully mature.
Tell me about it. And so this is going to have a pain rating of 2 for them to be kind of on your side here, basically.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll straight because I think I'm muddling my way through.
Okay. All right. Was Lila helping, or is Dawson on her own?
I'll help.
Okay.
That's good because I got only one success. I don't know.
Well, no help there. As 0 discipline successes. I got 0 successes.
I got 2 6s.
It does, however, look as though pain is dominating.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I will take another coin of
I
despair.
will help you get out of trouble.
So,
That's what I'll do.
Yeah, Lila did help Dawson.
these fellas come up, and they're kind of crowding around the other side of you. between you and the way out into the outer ring street. And they're like, no, it's all right. No, the place just changed around, didn't it? Yeah. No, you just got to go out. Just got to go out here. It's just across. You see, it's just you got to go another block, a couple blocks out this way, and it's just across. And at that point, you hear, "Hey!" down the alley.
Hey guys, we better run whatever direction we're going.
And you see these guys. The frat boys are like turning up, and they're desperately trying to get the guys, as they've been sort of stalking toward Lana, and the frat boy that was in front is gotten picked up. He sort of says, slurring, "Hey, we told you fellas to stay out." And one of them sort of steps forward, his arms spread. The edge is free, mate. The edge is free.
Little baby edgelord.
You want to come? You want to come have a nice chat about it? And you see these two groups are starting to converge a little bit. The pain that's involved, aside from the fact that there is a gang brawl starting, a couple of things. So Lila and Dawson and Dustin. I know, Dustin, are you with these two?
I don't know.
He's like, I'm not with them. I don't.
So, the good news is that these kids, they're mostly young boys, but some of them are girls. Are kind of forming a ring around the three of you to try to protect you. It looks like. The bad news is that Lana is between these two groups as they are starting to charge each other.
I feel like this is my role.
I feel as though that might be the case. What would you like to do?
Fair. It's fair. Lana started a gang war. It's fine. She's not a district attorney anymore. So I don't think talking my way out of this is possible. And I don't really want to use my madness talent. But I think I'm just gonna run towards my friends.
Okay. Try to avoid getting hit by these
Yes.
by these
Aggravating the frat boys more than I've already aggravated them.
These kids as they are running toward you. These
Yes.
Irregulars, let's call them, as they are racing toward you. So I actually am going to write that down before I forget.
Thank goodness you are using that term, because that was I was going to bring that up earlier.
Yeah.
Is that, oh my gosh, do we have the Baker Street Irregulars?
Kind of, yeah, basically. It looks like that. Yeah, these are more of these freaking Dickensian kids.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So the frat boys are about to fight the Irregulars, and so to avoid becoming a speed bump at this point, Lana, I'm going to assign this a pain of 5.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of angry youth coming at each other right now.
Cool. I'm gonna roll with some madness.
Okay.
Because I can't take another point of exhaustion. However, I can mark a response, which is not the one I unchecked. It's not particularly helpful, though. So, I'm going to roll with 4 extra madness.
Okay.
Well, I got 7 successes.
I only got 2, so this is going to go really well. Madness is in fact dominating. What response are you checking off?
Fight.
Fight! Excellent! You're in the middle of a fight, and your fight response is going off. As these kids are surging around you.
I didn't think
These
this
guys,
through,
I will
guys.
say
I made a
they are
tactical
largely
error.
college aged. These guys. There's some of the irregulars are younger, but they're not getting into the fight.
So I'm going to only fight the ones who are trying to stop me from getting to my friends.
Okay.
So it's probably like elbows and like
Yeah.
fists as I'm running by.
Are you distinguishing between the two gangs or just hitting anyone who gets in your way?
I don't know that I've seen the other gang, so I'm going to assume they're all after me.
Okay.
And I feel like that's appropriate in the middle of a fight
Yeah,
response too, that I'm not differentiating friend foe from foe.
So, Lila, Dawson, and Dustin, you will see now. Lana is doing really well. You're kind of like sort of hitting these people as they come at you. You're hitting probably. You're hitting frat boys. You're also hitting. You're also hitting irregulars as you're kind of moving closer to where Lila, Dawson, and Dustin are. Lila, Dawson, and Dustin, you're going to notice that that some of the irregulars kind of immediately are in front of you, and they're like, "Hey, steady on!" And you see that they're starting to see Lana as possibly another combatant.
Technically, she is.
Do you do anything?
Ta-da!
Yeah, wait. Like, I think I will.
This one's with you.
Yeah. She's with us. Let her through.
Yeah. Wait. Could you stop hitting us, please?
Oh.
Can you calm down?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're
I
like,
think there's lots of deep breathing, like she's trying to catch her breath from like just all the adrenaline and panic and just
there's
fighting.
yeah. There's this massive brawl now happening right in front of you folks, and they're sort of pulling you back, and these they're about like these kids sort of at the back, 3 kind of older kids at the back are like, yeah, come on, we got to get you out of here.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
And so, because, they're on your side, they don't want you to get involved in this. This is an outside thing. So they're going to take some of you by the hands if you wish, and they're going to start trying to herd you running towards that middle ring street.
Sure.
So there are
I'm gonna
now,
follow them.
yeah. So there are now like 7 of you,
Oh.
and they are actually going to stick with you to try to get you to the Garden District.
Okay.
Because it's right there. So there is but one little obstacle. Now, as you break out of here, you come out onto this ring street. Toward you're right near this intersection. You've got across from you again these medieval buildings draped in shadow. You've got to your left District 13. You've got diagonally across from you, across this intersection, is the Garden District. And between you and that, there is a traffic cop. He is directing traffic. Cars are going back and forth on this. This is a major road. This major circular road. It again, these are cars from all manner of eras. Going back and forth. There is a light. But he is also directing traffic to help out. Because there's a lot of traffic here. Clockwork Cop. And these kids are going to probably... These kids are going to help you across, but what do you want to do? How would you like to get across?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Not drawing any more attention to myself.
Okay.
Or if possible, if they'll help us, if they'll cause a distraction, that'd be sick. That'd be awesome of them. It's true gentlemanly behavior.
So, yeah, what we'll do is we'll say that I think one of them, it's only going to take one of them to do that. So, hang on. Let me look at a thing really quickly. Just so that I can have it. Excellent. All right. So, you are trying to basically the plan is one of these kids is going to run out and try to distract the cop, and the rest of you are going to try to get across the street. Both, to the opposite corner, basically. So, yeah, he's going to do that. He's going to take off running. And he's sort of looking. All right, let's try. Get going, and he runs off and he's like, hey, hey, and he starts jumping up and down as the cop just sort of turns and he's like, halt. Please, halt. And this is going to be getting across this intersection, both diagonally. It's just going to be a pain of, 2.
I don't think Lana should volunteer.
There's a bit of chaos, a lot of cars. You're going across two streets. Who's leading?
I'll lead.
Okay. So you'll be leading, and anyone else who wants to may contribute discipline if they wish to be part of it.
I will help out.
I think Lana is at her wit's end at the moment.
Understandable.
Alright.
There's some guilt going on for code of ethics, starting a gang war.
Use a point of madness here.
Okay. You've got a total right now of 3 successes. I got 1 success. And
Discipline is dominating, like hardcore.
discipline is oh, holy crap, it is.
Yeah. 3
Discipline is
sixes.
dominating. So both Dawson and Dustin can either take off a response or an exhaustion.
Of course, it turns out I should have volunteered.
And you make your way across. This cop starts basically, essentially is halting traffic to try to deal with this kid, and is calling for backup, and more is going to come pouring out, and this kid turns tail and runs back into the re-education district. These a couple of other clockwork cops are starting to run after him. There's chaos. Not enough to wreck any cars or anything like that. Not that level of chaos, which Lila has seen here before.
Not today.
But you make your way across over to where the Shadow District is, and then immediately sort of turning, you see all manner of sort of dark folk, dark sort of masked folk, people swathed in shadow, dark masks, dark clothing, dark auras. But you turn, and you run across the street to the Garden District, and you are there at the corner, and just far enough in that you have evaded the Clockwork Police. You have made it to the district you are looking for. There are a couple of irregulars who have gotten you, who are just sort of moved you over to here, and I think this is actually where we're going to bookmark it for the evening.
Cool.
I think next time might be our finale. I'm getting that feeling that we're almost about there, depending on how long it takes to unfold this business. I will say, probably.
So how much we goof around next episode.
It's I'm friendly toward that manner of thing. So just depends on what we're doing. But there we are. You are you have made it to the Garden District. Congratulations.
And we reunited.
And you have,
us.
For the most part, reunited. We will now.
I'm like,
yeah.
Cool. All four of us get together. Where's Luca? We don't know.
Yeah. We'll hopefully find that out next time, and it'll actually probably won't be too difficult because of things going on. But we shall now go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and plug anything you like, and then any final thoughts you have about this session, favorite bits or what have you. And we shall start today with Rrok.
Hey, so I'm Rock and Roll, been playing Dustin for this session, and as far as where I can be found, right now just pretty much anywhere on any of the social media sites, and under the name Rock and Roll. This is the only stream that I have going on right now, so this pretty much going to be the only place to find me. As far as tonight's session, it's always difficult for me to kind of pick one thing in particular. So I thought it was kind of funny, the whole starting a brawl between the Baker Street irregulars and a bunch of frat kids. I thought that was kind of amusing in how it sort of just happened.
That is true. That is awesome. No, I thought it was. I amused myself really at that point. It's like, well, no, once I saw how the rolls were going, I'm like, nope, this is how this is going to go down. So very cool. All right. Well, we're going to now head over to Nash.
Hi, I'm Nash, your friendly neighborhood gang war starter. Yeah, Lana is dealing with a whole lot of I think both personal and professional ethics violations that just happened tonight. Although I'm not sure she'll ever be a district attorney again, but that's a whole different discussion for another day. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'm actually kind of glad that I did not take my fight response out on Dustin, because it was a whole lot more fun to pick on frat boys. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Theater Nerd 221. I, like Rrok, don't have any other streams going, which is cool. It's fine. Hopefully soon I will have another announcement to make, but I don't have one now, so.
All right. Cool. Thank you for being here and being lawyerly. This was very entertaining. And now we will head over to Olivia.
Hello, everybody. I have been Olivia. You can find me on Twitter and also other social media places, but I'm really mostly just on Twitter at Cry Out Olivia. You can also find me on the podcast Material Components, wherever you like to get your podcasts from. I really liked the reveal of Dustin and Lila knowing each other, and I don't think we got to explore that enough this session, and so I'm excited for finding out like more about that.
Lore, the lore.
Yeah, exactly. And also just like the confluence of like attracting like, and it's weird how this is all happening in patterns, and yeah, digging it.
It is really neat. This is the first time we've actually dug down into that idea, and so I'm loving it. I really am. Very cool. And finally, over to Alyssa.
Hey everybody, I have been your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales. You can find me on the internet at Shawl Tales, and back here again next week, where we find out what happens and where that river's coming from. Hopefully Lila doesn't have a meltdown after all. She's sort of just like laughing and rolling her eyes at everything that has just gone down, and I kind of got a kick of watching Lana go from trying and failing to talk her way out of everything to just out and out brawling, as well as having a little reunion with Dustin and some nostalgia. Yeah, looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Me too. Awesome. Okay. And that leaves me. Oh, who am I? This is a great question. I haven't really felt like myself tonight. It's been very strange. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. But for the moment, I'll say that I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter, Hive, Mastodon, and most other social media platforms. Where I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. This week, with any luck, we are going to be coming back on Wednesday to our Dune campaign. We weren't able to do it last week for various holiday scheduling reasons, it turned out. But hopefully should be back this week with Dune House Versailles, as we plot to try to deal with the forces of this house that we displaced from this planet that we were handed by the Emperor. It's an ocean planet, strangely enough, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that comes out. And then, of course, Friday we have the other group, the Outer Veil, our Don't Rest Your Head game. That is probably going to be the finale. I think everything's going to get tied up for the finale of that arc. I should keep in mind when I say finale, right now I'm talking about the arc, because there will be additional arcs after this one, strangely enough, with more people. And I got to set that up. We're getting close to the edge. I got to hurry. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything resolves with that group. And what they decide to do, because a lot of them kind of want to stay in the Mad City. So I'm going to be very curious to see what happens. And then, of course, Monday, back around to the Inner Circle, and we will see if we can move toward resolving this thing and seeing where the river comes from. And hopefully all will be well. I guess we'll find out. But in the meantime, folks, when we hit the end card, I'm probably going to go, probably go and raid somebody. I saw a couple of folks out there. I'll probably go say hi to someone. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. That'll be, again, when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.